Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2025 film Sinners, and this is directed by Ryan Coogler and stars Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld and Jack O'Connell. Now just a heads up guys, I am going to get into some specifics about the story and stuff. Nothing too spoilery, but it's basically everything that they showed you in the trailers. But if you know nothing about this movie, it is definitely best going in as blind as possible. So just a heads up there. When two twin brothers used some dirty money to open up a jazz joint in 1930s Mississippi, a bunch of vampires swarmed the place intending to prey on them and the paying customers. Now I think I was one of the last people in my little movie community to see this film. I got to it the Monday when it released the Friday, and I had heard so much praise about this film. In fact, I had not seen one bad word about Sinners online and stuff. So that got me kind of nervous because I was really looking forward to this film and I didn't want to go in with too much expectation. But this is a rarity where you don't hear any bad word about it. So I thought, okay, this must be good. But going in with level expectations, but it shouldn't be much of a surprise really, because we had Ryan Coogler back here teaming up with Michael B. Jordan, who's of course done Creed and Black Panther. I haven't seen Through Fail Station yet, but I know that's highly rated. So it seems to be a little bit of a match made in heaven. And I gotta say, Michael B. Jordan puts a hell of a performance here playing these two twin brothers called Smoke and Stack. And I really like how Ryan Coogler decided to put a red hat on one of them and a blue hat on the other, just to differentiate the two. But I think Michael B. Jordan does a good enough job anyway of letting you know who is who. But these brothers are basically people who are not to be reckoned with. I mean, they are feared gangsters, but they're kind of fair as well. They're not really bullies, so that can sort of make you like these people a little bit more than you probably shouldn't do. But I just like the way they interact with all the characters and stuff around them, because they kind of just use the wise words and stuff to get what they want, but also if anyone fucks them about, they're not going to take any prisoners either. So Michael B. Jordan does this really good job of being tough as nails, but also cool as fuck.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
But there's a ton of great characters here. Everyone feels like they've got personality and all feel like tight-knit. I mean, this is a small community type movie in the backdrop of Mississippi there, all in a little small town where kind of everyone knows each other. And we have Miles Catton as one of the main characters in this movie, who plays Smoke and Stack's younger cousin. And he is this upcoming magician with a hell of a talent. And I really love how it's showcased later in the movie. One of the best characters in this by far. But also we have Delroy Lindo, who is always friggin' awesome now, isn't he? I mean, remember the Five Bloods, that performance he put in there? I like him in everything I see. Yes, even Gone in 60 Seconds. I think he's awesome in that as well. But here, just brings so much aura to the screen and screen presence. But we've got Jack O'Connell here as well, who I haven't seen for a while, to be honest. And it's great to see him in such a more villainous role. I think he plays villains the best. But he is like the kind of head vampire here. And my God, he just gives off this total evil sort of presence, this sinister smile that he has, but also a really creepy looking vampire as well. I mean, he just plays the part of the villain so well here, and you kind of don't really want to be around this guy because he just gives off vibes that he is just going to attack you at any damn second with this smiling, smirking grin of horror that he has. And I really like the whole romantic relationship side of things we had going on here with Smoke and Stack and their past and kind of present girlfriends, really, with Haley Steinfeld and Wunmi Musaku's characters. I mean, there's just enough backstory there to kind of let you know what's been going on and the weight that they're carrying of what's been going on in the past. And also the movie uses that to get you invested a little bit, but also there's a lot to carry on going forward as well. It's quite well written how these relationships sort of take place on screen there. But I just think the whole movie has a ton of great side characters as well. Not even the ones I've just mentioned, they're all great, but even ones that just come in here now and then for little smaller scenes. The movie uses their screen time to basically not make them cardboard characters or characters just there for the sake of things. They all have personality, and that's what I think Ryan Coogler really done well here with this whole host of cast who are really well acted. I mean, everyone brings their A game, but everyone is interesting. But you can tell this is Coogler's baby. He had this vision of what he wanted to do here, and I feel like the movie companies, or studios, should I say, just let him go with it and give him the budget that he needed to bring this vision to life on the big screen. Everything looks fantastic. 1930s Mississippi is just glowing with character. I mean, I was looking at it going, man, I love when movies take place here, but he just nailed the aesthetic so well. Visually, this is such a stunning film. And when you're going through these rocky roads, through bunches of fields, or, just in this little town where they live, kind of feels like a Western at times, everything is just so jaw-dropping to look at. However, one of the biggest positives of Sinners was the music. I gotta say, it might be the best thing about the movie, to be honest. Having this blues music incorporate the time period so well is just something that is so important to the story and to everything that happens on screen. Like, basically, it might just be in the background there where, you're kind of hearing it as characters talk dialogue or whatever, or it might come to the forefront where it's the main focus of the scene, where characters dance and sing around, and it's just kind of an event to look at, if you like. But every music choice was brilliant as well. It just makes the movie kind of tick along there. It's an important cog into a well-oiled machine. I mean, I think a lot of people will be listening to this soundtrack for months to come, maybe years to come, who knows. But I was listening to it the day after I watched the movie. I thought it was great. But you may have heard at the start of this video, this is actually a vampire film. And what I love about this is it kind of just looms in the background there until it comes to the forefront in the second half of the movie. And as much good time I was having with the first half of the film, the movie definitely elevated when we got into all this vampire horror action there. I gotta say, the look of the vampires here was great. Such a simple but effective choice. They kind of just got this little glint in their eyes here and there, but when the vampire action sort of has to happen, they don't add too much. They don't make them look ridiculous or anything. They just add these cool ass looking fangs and they have the glint in their eye, and that's it. But it just works so well. It makes it feel more grounded and kind of believable. Not believable because vampires of course are not real, but the tone that this movie is going for, trying to be a more serious story, fits with what the vampires are like in this film. And it's all kind of basically having the dialogue they have is all kind of dark humor, which makes them feel like vicious, nasty, sinister little bastards. But I really liked it when they were sort of having dialogue together and stuff, because it made them feel like they just want to kill and are up to something and finding ways to get to the humans and stuff. But they do it in such a way where it feels like they're having fun. And I really love that. And some performances have to be elevated in this movie, of course, because, spoiler alert, I'm sure you already know, in vampire movies, some characters do turn into vampires. And that's what happens here. And I really like some of the performances from this massive cast that we have. I'm not going to say who turns into a vampire, of course, but when they sort of turn into vampires, you see a different side of it. And again, that just goes back to the cast doing such a phenomenal job. But as serious and grounded as this movie tries to be, I really like how they didn't stray away too far from it when it comes to the vampire lore. Like, characters will use cloves of garlic and stuff to be used as weapons, which may sound ridiculous to some people. Like, do you really have to incorporate all that stuff in there? But it just works, and I'm glad they did it. And, like, vampires are trying to get into the bar, but they can't be let in unless they're given permission and stuff. I like the way they brought all that into the movie as well, to not stray too far away from the whole vampires are ridiculous type of thing. They bring it into the story as well. So glad all that lore was put in there, but placed so well to not sound too over the top. Now, I'm just going to have a few negatives about the film. No, not many movies are perfect, are they? And this had a couple of things that irked me, but I just want to say something that I'm kind of mixed on. before I get into the negatives, and that is that this feels very, very familiar to Dusk Till Dawn. It almost felt too familiar. It's a gangster style movie, and the second half, it's a vampire style movie. Exactly what Dusk Till Dawn does. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because Dusk Till Dawn is a great movie, and that's why it's in my mixed. If you're doing a Dusk Till Dawn style film, I'm there day one, although I got to this one late. But I just feel like you can't really say this is too original of a movie when it's kind of doing the same thing that a movie done 30 years ago. So I see a lot of people saying this is such an original type film. It feels different in tone, but it is the same plot, basically. So people may disagree with that, and that's fine, but I see in the same structure as from Dusk Till Dawn here, just in a different time period with different characters. But that second act is still really fun, despite it feeling very Dusk Till Dawn. Like I said, I love Dusk Till Dawn. I really like how this jazz joint that Michael B. Jordan's characters have, sort of opened up here on this night, acts as the deterrent between prey and predator. It's kind of like the safe zone, if you like. And it becomes a character within itself. The jazz joint that they open up here is a massive part of this movie, where basically a lot of the best parts of the film take place in, especially the music. However, guys, I do have a couple of negatives with this film, and one of them was kind of the sound when characters were exchanging dialogue. Now, I don't know if it was just my screening, I don't know if it was the deep southern accents here that the characters were using, but I found it very difficult to understand some of the dialogue here, especially in the first act of the movie. Felt like characters were mumbling at times. Like I said, might have been my screening. I don't know if anyone else had the problem with this. Please do let me know down below if that was a case for you. But my wife said the exact same thing. And that was such a shame for me, because I wanted to get lost and invested in this world so much. I went into this movie so ready after hearing all the positive reactions and reviews. And I just wanted to get lost here. And I wanted to hear every piece of dialogue and just really get into this film. And it was really annoying me that at times I was just finding it very hard to hear what they were saying. So maybe on rewatch I will not notice that, and it maybe was just my screen, I don't know. But I watched it on the ice end screen and everything, the best screen possible. Yeah, which is a bit of a shame. But I feel like this is a thing that happens with a lot of movies now. Like, I watch a lot of movies and characters are mumbling and stuff, and it's not my TV settings or anything, because I will throw a movie in from the 50s or 60s and I can hear everything perfect. I feel like characters back then, or actors, wouldn't have got the job unless they could say their lines properly, and now it kind of doesn't really matter too much. I don't know what you guys think of that, just my thoughts. Also, something that happens towards the end of the movie, I can't really say what it is here because I'll spoil it. I was kind of scratching my head going, really? That's how this is all going to tie up here and kind of end? Really? That kind of seemed dumb from a lot of characters to do this certain thing, but yeah, maybe it is explained in the movie somewhere, but I was scratching my head going, I can't believe that's the way they decided to go that direction with this to basically end this whole thing. And by the way, guys, I am not talking about the post-credit scene. Make sure you stay around for that, because it is a very important piece of the story, and I really liked the last kind of 5-minute end credit scene there. I thought it was awesome. However, guys, despite a couple of negatives there and a lot of positives, this is one of, if not the best movie of 2025 so far. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think 2025 has been the best year so far, but I think this was slightly overhyped for me going into it. The way a lot of people were just saying one of the best films in years and stuff. I wasn't quite there, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a really solid vampire flick, and I really like that we're getting this kind of vampire renaissance now, aren't we? With Renfield a couple of years ago, Abigail, Nosferatu, and now Sinners. Maybe there's more to come, but yeah, highly enjoyable flick. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Sinners an 8 out of 10. I feel like on rewatch I may enjoy it even more and it may go up in score, but for now I'm going to sit at a very solid 8 out of 10. Okay guys, at the end of these reviews I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Sinners is that Director Ryan Coogler said his two big inspirations for this movie were The Faculty and, you guessed it, From Dusk Till Dawn. Would you believe it? Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. What did you think of Sinners? Please do let me know in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you all, I promise. Please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if horror is your sort of thing. If you want more 2025 horror movie reviews, there'll be a link down below. Thanks so much guys, you take care. I'll see you all in the next video.